Thailand in a Bangkok jail, courtesy of the Thai government, and I'm here today with the good people of the Gulf Institute for Democracy and Human Rights, also Amnesty Australia and Human Rights Watch, to stand for Hakeem's freedom and to call on the Thai government, particularly today with a bilateral meeting with our Foreign Minister Maurice Payne, to release Hakeem immediately, to respect his international human rights. There's no reason for Hakeem to be incarcerated in Thailand right now. He's been there in excess of a 6-week period, and he should be returned immediately safely back to Australia. I'm going to introduce Fatima Yazbek to speak on behalf of the Gulf Institute. We're also calling on the AFC, Asian Football Confederation, to publicly support Hakeem. After a six-week period, the Football Federation Australia have quite early supported in a public statement the plight of Hakeem. We note also that FIFA have overnight issued a second statement in support of Hakeem as well, calling on the Bahrain, the Thai and Australian relevant authorities to support Hakeem and immediately release him. FIFA made a particular point of the fact that he is a refugee, and so legally there is no reason for Thailand to be elongating his detention, and that he should be immediately returned to Australia right now. We're also calling on the president of the AFC, Sheikh Salman, who is known to Hakeem and who has had conflict with Hakeem in the past. We're calling on him to support Hakeem Al-Arabi, to make a public statement. The silence of over 6 weeks of the Asian Football Confederation is completely unacceptable under the human rights policy now, which has been implemented at both FIFA, AFC, and indeed here in Australia and every football body around the world. Sheikh Salman is obligated to support Hakeem. He is obligated to do everything in his power to advocate both privately and publicly, and to use the immense leverage that football has with the Bahrain government, his own government, he's a Bahraini national, also with the Thai government, to release Hakeem. As yet, the silence of the Asian Football Confederation is not just confounding, it's absolutely disgraceful under our human rights obligations within the entire football community. Tonight, Bahrain are playing against UAE in the Asian Cup. Particularly on this moment then, when his own national team is playing, and if not incarcerated and tortured back in 2012 following the Arab Spring, where Hakeem would be playing tonight. He'd be representing Bahrain against Thailand. He's only 25 years of age, and when all of this occurred, he was only 18 years old. Only a couple of years ago, one of the reasons why we're so supportive, not just because he's a refugee and we feel strongly about it as Australians and as a football community, but also because he's not just a player. We're not asking for just his human rights. He's a human rights defender. He's a very courageous young man who in 2016 stood up to the Bahraini government, stood up to Sheikh Salman, the president of the AFC, and was critical of them publicly in their conduct during that period. He was one of the very few alleged around 150 athletes who were incarcerated at that time. He was one of the very few, if not the only athlete worldwide to speak publicly in opposition to his own government. A government whose human rights record, as Amnesty and Human Rights Watch will attest to, is horrible and whose people are fighting still for basic democracy and freedom of speech. Hakeem is a very brave young man, and that's why he deserves the support of the Australian football community, and we're calling on the broader Australian community to also call for the immediate release of Hakeem Al-Arabi by the Thai government.